Everybody, my name is Allie, and I wanted to talk to you guys about trauma and PTSD. So let me start out with the definition of trauma. When you do a simple Google search, you come up with the definition of trauma being a deeply disturbing or distressing experience. One example that they give is personal trauma, like the death of a child. Trauma can be multiple different things. It could be physical, it can be emotional, it can be mental. It varies from person to person. And so, if you continue to read on psychological trauma is damage to the mind that occurs as a result of a stressing event. Trauma is often the result of an overwhelming amount of stress that exceeds one's ability to cope or integrate the emotions involved within that experience. So everybody processes things differently, and they can only handle so much based upon them themselves. So one person may go through a traumatic experience and they will be just fine. Another person can go through that same exact experience and they won't be fine. They'll have the anxiety, the depression, and everything that goes along with trauma. So let's look up the definition of trauma and PTSD. So PTSD is short for post-traumatic stress disorder. A lot of the times people will look at PTSD and say, oh, that's a military problem. It's only with people who have served in the military. It's a military disease. But unfortunately, it's not. And I mean, some people will say unfortunately, other people will say fortunately it's not. Again, it's based upon traumatic events. So the definition of the explanation that they have for a post-traumatic stress disorder when you Google it is a disorder in which a person has difficulty recovering after experiencing or witnessing a terrifying event. The condition may last months or years, with triggers that can bring back memories of the trauma, accompanied by intense emotional and physical reactions. So that's where the anxiety, depression, and all of that stuff. And it requires a medical diagnosis. So with that, symptoms may include, as they state below, nightmares or unwanted memories of the trauma, avoiding the situation that brings back memories of the trauma, heightened reactions, anxiety, or depressed mood. So a lot of the time, trauma and PTSD go hand in hand. And with that, so when you Google number of non-military personnel who suffer from PTSD, you'll come up with a statement, how many non-veterans have PTSD is another question that people ask a lot on Google. And it has just a little blurb that says, but PTSD does not just happen to combat veterans. PTSD can occur in all people, in people of any ethnicity, nationality, or culture, in any age. PTSD affects approximately 3.5% of the U.S. adults, and approximately 1 in 11 people will be diagnosed with PTSD in their lifetime. So, if you look at it, there is a chance that 1 in 11 people that you know, or even yourself, may have experienced PTSD. PTSD could be something that in years from now could be resulted because of the COVID-19 virus that we have going on. It could be a result of a car accident. It could be the result of seeing a parent die or anything like that, where people just have this sense of avoidance of hospitals. They're terrified of hospitals because they had a really bad experience. So as you can tell, I am a mess. But I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys a little bit about my experience. Again, my name is Allie, and I want to talk to you about PTSD and trauma. So let me give you a little bit of a background. I grew up in a very everybody knew everybody. I have 2 older brothers and a little sister. I grew up with both of my parents and everything like that. So, I mean, my life was pretty normal. And then I started to battle with anxiety and depression when I was in like middle school. They started me on some medication to help with that. And then I had a classmate of mine take his life. So that was pretty traumatic, just getting out of 8th grade, getting ready for freshman year, and having a classmate take their life. And just knowing that you drove by their house 15, maybe 20 minutes max with your mom before the ambulance came. So it was pretty crazy. My classmates and I got really close at that time, growing up in a small school, graduating class of like 50 people. So it was really crazy. It was hard on all of us. And so we continue on, and I had a big issue with death. Death was a huge traumatic issue for me. Watching my grandma die was very hard. I couldn't sleep for months very well. I didn't feel like I could talk about it. So that's another hard thing there too, is when it comes to trauma and PTSD, just the fact that it's not normal to talk about it. People are just like, oh, don't talk about it, don't talk about it, don't talk about it. It'll get better if you don't talk about it, if you just ignore it. But in reality, if you talk about it, it helps it get better. So I believe it was before my grandma died. I wound up having a really bad depressive episode and wound up cutting my wrist. I just don't know why, other than just I was so emotionally filled with pain that I wanted to get rid of it some way, somehow, some form. And it did not end well. They increased my medication. They ended up having to go through counseling and all of that. For me, it was just a very tough experience. So I remember that year, in leading to the end of that year, we had to take ITEDs, which were Iowa Test of Basic Skills, and I wound up doing very poorly on those because I was so depressed and I didn't feel like I could talk to anybody. And then the following year, I was doing a little better, I felt, and then they proceeded to put me in a class where I needed more help, especially reading. Even though I was a very advanced reader, due to my test scores, they had to put me in the class. I threw a major fit about it, and I didn't feel like it was the best thing for me mentally or emotionally, but they continued to keep me in the class. So I persisted, being a very stubborn person. It was a very tough semester, I guess you could say. So that happens, and then life just goes on, and I stopped taking my meds. I don't recommend anybody doing that, but I did. I wanted off of them. I didn't feel normal. I didn't like the way that they made me feel. I never felt like myself. I always felt like this fake sense of happiness, and I just was done. So we fast forward to my senior year of high school, and one of the many traumatic events in my 24 years, yes, I said that, I'm 24, and I've had quite a few traumatic events in my life. So on Thursday, September 12th, I was involved in 2013. I was involved in a single vehicle car accident. I had left school to go and get eggs for one of my teachers, and my car horn was going off. I couldn't get it to shut off, and it's like, okay, let me go grab the eggs and let me run home real quick to get the key fob. The key fob didn't work. So I was on my way back to the school to get the eggs to my teacher, and then proceeded to go on the back way to get there, and then I was going to go to work when I got those eggs back to my instructor. So, long story short, I hit loose grapple, I overcorrected, resulting in me flipping over and hitting a culvert. So my car flipped like a pancake, nose over tail, and I don't remember much of anything from the accident. I remember the feeling of my arms crossing over. I remember just seeing like a section of grass and then nothing. But I don't remember anything else. I don't know how my seatbelt got undone. I don't know how I was able to get out of the car. The gentleman who had witnessed the whole thing had told first responders that I had passed out. I hit my head pretty hard, had some gashes and bruises, ended up hitting my pelvis on the steering wheel, causing a tear in my labrum that we later found out in January of 2014. I ended up having surgery for that. But it was a crazy experience. I definitely don't wish a car accident on my worst enemy by any means. I was by myself. I definitely felt like it was a God moment in my life where God was there with me, almost like it felt like He was covering my eyes with His hands, protecting me from seeing and protecting me when the car hit. Because on the angle that the car hit, the car hood should have came down in the roof of the car. Should have came in down on my side, but it came in down on the passenger side. Wound up totaling the vehicle. I had multiple people tell me that I shouldn't have walked away from that with no injuries. We didn't know at the time that I had torn my labrum. They didn't count my concussion as an injury per se, but more like physical injury compared to the mental or emotional trauma that would accompany that. So they were like, oh, you should have like broken a bone or something along those lines, which none of that happened. So we fast forward to August of 2014. I'm graduated, getting ready to head off to college, and I meet this guy. This guy was a coworker of mine, and we somewhat, I guess, were talking, but he wound up assaulting me. I never talked to anybody about it. I never shared this information with anyone, because I didn't realize what had happened until about a year later when I was at school. I was an RA, so I was an assistant on campus, and then had been in a meeting talking about sexual assault and rape and all of those different things, and how those were traumatic experiences and different things that are considered sexual assault and rape. So then I came to the realization in front of 500 different people that some of them I've never met before, that I was sexually assaulted. And so I had to come to terms with that. I was assaulted twice by two different gentlemen. Well, I can't say gentlemen, two different guys. I've come to terms with what has happened with them, and I've forgiven them. Do I want them in my life? Absolutely not. Just because you forgive somebody, and this is the part that I want you to listen to. Just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean that you have to let them back into your life. Doesn't mean that you have to talk to them. Doesn't mean that you are opening yourself up again to be hurt by them. Forgiveness is for you, and it's not for them. Forgiveness is hard. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Sometimes you have to forgive somebody multiple times before you truly forgive them. So we'll fast forward again to September 11th of 2019. So it was a Wednesday. I'd gotten up early, went to morning prayer, and then had went and grabbed my coworker. We had driven to Des Moines. We had a work training in Des Moines to where we were going to get our StarSafe certificates. So we go, we have a fun time, we get Chick-fil-A, and it was so much fun being there. And then traffic was pretty heavy on the way back because our session got over about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So it was a little crazy. But we made it through rush hour. We had talked, she had mentioned how she was glad that I was driving, because if she would have been driving, we probably would have been in a minor accident. And everything, but we didn't realize that when we would get back into town, we would wind up having a woman turn in front of us, and we would wind up T-boning her. So what happened is that we made it, we were probably within 5 miles of work, which is a place that we both called home, which a lot of studies and reports have shown that most accidents happen within 5 miles of the home. So we were getting ready to come onto this bigger intersection, not like a major intersection. There were a couple other bigger intersections before we would get to work, but it was a fairly decent intersection, and traffic lights, the whole 9 yards, was there, but we had an officer pull out in front of us, not in like a bad way, but he had turned and gotten into the right lane. We were in the left lane, and then I had an officer come and pull out behind us in the right lane as well. So we were in the left lane. The light was red as we were coming up on it, and then it turned green. So I was slowing down, and then when the light turned green, I started speeding up because it was green. And before I knew it, the officer had already gone through the intersection, and this silver SUV was pulling out in front of us. And so I slam on the brakes. I have one hand on the steering wheel, the other one locked out on the horn, and we wind up hitting. I don't remember hitting her car. I just remember becoming aware, coming to my passenger saying that she can't breathe. Like it hurt to breathe. A little more information on my passenger. At the day of the accident, she was 32 weeks and 2 days pregnant. She was a higher risk pregnancy already. So it was very terrifying. Scary, to say the least, that she was in the car with me when we hit the other woman's car. She had a passenger. Wound up having, the officer had to pry her door open to get her out of the car. remember when I came to, I took off my glasses and threw them on the dash out of anger, disbelief, so many different emotions, like, oh my gosh. I undid my seatbelt, and they came over and asked me, it's like, hey, can you get out? We want to make sure that you can get out before the airbag goes off, if they go off, because we didn't hit hard enough to cause the airbag to go off, or at the right angle to cause them to go off either. So I get out, they ask if I'm okay, it's like, yeah, I'm okay, and then before I even got out of the vehicle, for some reason, before an officer even got over to me, I grabbed my phone and instinctively called 911. I lock my phone out because that's what happens when you call 911. They put your phone on lockdown for 10 minutes to ensure that they can call you back. And so I was frustrated even more. So because I couldn't call my pastor, I couldn't call my friends, I couldn't call anybody to come and get me or anything like that, and I knew my car was totaled. I think the reason why I instinctively called 911, even though I remember the officer going through the intersection and then the officer behind us, it was that whole traumatic experience, PTSD kind of thing, where it brought me back almost instantaneously to my first car accident that I was in. Because the first thing I did when I got out of that car was call 911. Even though the gentleman had already called 911. He was on the phone with the OnStar gal and everything, but I instinctively called 911. So we get into the ambulance. They are specifically wanting to make sure that she's okay. They're asking me, are you sure you're okay? And I went to go lean over to grab my wallet to get them my insurance information. Well, my driver's license. My insurance information was in the glove box that my passenger broke with her kneecaps. Her kneecaps did not break, but she broke the glove box, so we couldn't get into that. So I had to use my phone to pull that up. And so we are in the back of the ambulance. They helped me get buckled up. I leaned over, and I had a sharp pain in my left hip. That's the same hip that I had surgery on twice. The first time was to repair the tear in my labrum, which your hip is a ball and socket joint. So in the socket, you have a labrum on the inside, and so that had torn. And so they went and fixed that, and then over the course of a year and a half, I wound up having scar tissue that started to try and fuse the joints together. So I was in a lot of pain again. And I think, again, the reason as to why I automatically thought of my hip was simply because of being pulled back to that first accident, being pulled back mentally and emotionally to that accident. I remember somebody telling me that, and I mean, I don't think they meant any harm, nor would they be able to predict that I was going to almost, let me see, 6 years to the date, have another accident. But somebody had told me, it's like, what if you would have had a passenger? You could have killed them. So a lot of that was brought back. But that happens. And again, people don't say things on purpose. They're responding to a traumatic event of possibly almost losing their kid or their friend. So we get to the hospital. They bring us to separate rooms. They have me sitting by myself. And the only thing I could think about was my passenger's baby and not knowing if she's okay. Not knowing if she was alive, if she was hurt, if she would be born with a birth defect because of the accident. There's a lot of guilt involved. So I was waiting for my best friend to come and be with me at the hospital. And I was waiting. They had me again, like I said, by myself in my room. So I was left to my thoughts. And it was hard. So they checked me out, did x-rays on my hip because that was my primary complaint. They never did diagnose me with a concussion or tell me I was in shock or anything like that. It was a complete mess when I was in the room. My best friend was terrified to leave me alone at my house. She offered to let me stay at her place. And everything. And so, come to find out, I go and see my chiropractor the next day, and I'm still completely out of it, still in shock and in complete disbelief of what had happened, of still trying to figure out how to come to terms with the accident and that my coworker was doing and all of that stuff. It was hard. My cat, that you've probably seen in the corner, uh, was by my side the whole entire time. She didn't want to leave my side. I got up, she got up, I laid down, she laid down. She definitely could tell that I was not myself. And I mean, that's why I have her. Because I got her in college to help with my anxiety and my depression. But my chiropractor looked at me and was like, your blood pressure's high. You're in shock still. And you have a concussion. Because I brought all the paperwork from the hospital so she could see it. And then trying to get all the information was very hard. It was definitely not anything that I wanted to deal with, but being the owner of the vehicle and the driver of the vehicle, I sort of had to deal with all of that contacting the insurance companies and arguing and fighting with him, trying to get a rental car for probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks is how long it took to get a rental car. I had to rely a lot on others, which was hard for me to do. I've been very self-sufficient, and I'm the helper. And I mean, that's what I do. I'm the one that's supposed to be helping people. I'm not supposed to be helped. That's always my mindset. And so got the rental car. It took forever to get things settled. They couldn't find the title to my car, even though I told them it was in the glove box. And I told them that they'd have to break into it. And they proceeded to tell me that it wasn't there, it's not there, it's not there. And so I went about a month without a car of my own. It was hard. It was a struggle. Around a couple different vehicles from people, and it just was not a good situation. Very stressful, as we had started getting busy at work, dealing with the mental, emotional, and physical side effects of the accident, dealing with headaches and the PTSD that I was eventually diagnosed with about a month after the accident. Just certain sounds would send me back and cause me to panic. And so it was hard trying to get my life back. And so it was like, I don't know, November, December is when I first started noticing a numbness and tingling in my hands. The same hand that I had held out and locked out on the horn. Still had the neck pain, still had the headaches really bad. And then in January of this year, I woke up one morning and I couldn't move my neck or my shoulder. At first, it was just like, oh, I slept wrong, it'll be fine. I get up, hop in the shower, trying to release the muscles and everything like that, and I almost pass out and almost throw up in the shower. And so then I go and see a doctor. They're like, oh, it's probably your neck. And so we did medication and physical therapy and more medication and doctors. And now today's June 30th of 2020. About 5.5 months later, we are still searching to find a solution for the pain that I'm in on a daily basis that fluctuates from being very severe to just being flat out annoying. The pain's been very limiting, and battling with the insurance companies trying to get things sorted out with workman's comp for coverage, and then also trying to get it sorted out with the lady's car insurance because the lady wound up being at fault. Just trying to balance all of that, getting to the right doctors and getting doctors to listen to me has been a struggle. With COVID-19, it's been hard to get into doctors to get the care that I feel like I need to have a somewhat normal life, whatever normal is anymore. I've been talking for the past, 11 months, 11 and a half, 12 months, 10 and a half, 11 months now since the accident that I just want my life back. It's been tough, for sure. the unknown of when I'll find relief, when I'll find healing, when I'll find a doctor that will listen, when I'll find a doctor that will help me have a better quality of life. That's honestly what I'm seeking. I'm seeking a better quality of life. I want to be able to work like I had before. I want to be able to lift like I had before, but I can't due to the physical limitations of the pain. Some people tell us who suffer from anxiety, depression, trauma, PTSD, don't talk about it and you'll be fine. Don't talk about it and you'll be fine. But again, sometimes talking about it is the only way to heal from it, emotionally and mentally. Pain doesn't help with mental and emotional healing, and mental and emotional pain doesn't help with physical pain. So it's a very hard balance with medication, trying to balance all of those and keep those in control, as well as keeping just life in general in control. And also, like, trying to keep my weight under control has been a struggle since the accident. I had gained 50 pounds from September to December from the accident, and it's been a struggle to lose that weight with the emotional and mental health struggles that I've had resulting from the accident. And sometimes I'll have issues with my memory and won't be able to remember things very well, or sometimes I'll find myself repeating things from time to time and not even realize that I'm repeating them. But one day, I truly believe that one day there will be no more pain, that there will be healing. It's just a matter of when that happens. It's like I believe in God, and I believe that Jesus will provide healing. It's just whether or not it's in this lifetime or the next. And the main reason behind posting this and sharing this isn't for sympathy for myself. Yes, it'll help with my healing to share this, to talk about this, to talk about the experiences that I've gone through, to cry. But the main reason why I'm sharing this is because I feel like God has led me to share this experience with anyone and everyone who wants to see it. Because I know that there's some of you out there that are struggling with emotional and mental or even physical health issues, and you feel like you're alone. You're not alone, I promise. Like, I understand what you're going through, and I want to remind you that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to cry. I've heard it said that even the clouds cry when things get heavy, and that's just a beautiful picture to remind us that tears are okay. Crying is okay. Crying is healing. It's okay to reach out for help. It's okay to call your doctor. It's okay to tell your doctor how you feel and that you're not doing okay, that you need help. It's okay to consult with your friends and to just cry to a friend. They'll understand if they love you. They will. Again, I just wanted to share this to deliver hope that even though I'm still in the waiting, I'm still in the middle of the struggle, that I'm trying to remain hopeful, trying to remember that one day there will be no more pain, one day we will be free, and it's just going to be a matter of time. I hope that this does bring hope to those that are suffering, that this brings healing. And pray that anybody that's watching who is struggling with emotional, physical, or mental pain will have healing, whether it's immediate or it's over time, but it will happen. Just gotta continue to believe, and remember, it's okay to cry.